You now tuned in to the Gumptown Podcast. I'm your boy Doug B. We ain't got nothing to talk about, but we got something to talk about. Let's go. Good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 116. I'm your boy Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving this podcast a shot. Today's guest is the general manager and head coach of the DC Defenders. I'm looking forward to this conversation. I'm sure we'll all be inspired by his story. Let's chop it up with Coach Reggie Barlow. Coach Barlow, how's it going?
Man, everything is good. Certainly appreciate you guys allowing us to come on and fellowship with you tonight.
Yes, sir. Glad to hear. Glad everything good your way, and appreciate you for giving me a few minutes of your time just to chop it up and all that good stuff. First things first, how's life been treating you lately?
Life has been good, Doug. I mean, I tell you, man, just, God is amazing. We've been blessed to be able to accomplish a lot and be in a really good situation. Our family is good. Kids are good. Wife is good. My parents are good. So we're just blessed, man. And we just want to continue to try to bless the world and share with things that we've been blessed with.
Yes, sir. No doubt. So, of course, we're here to talk about your great playing career and great coaching career that you're still presently in and making great things happen. But before we go there, let's get to know the man behind it all. Let's start from the beginning. What was your upbringing like coming up in the Gump?
Yeah, so I grew up in Montgomery, mainly Ridgecrest. I mean, we moved around a good bit. We spent some time in English Village, maybe a year or so. We also lived, Smiley Cove, a few other places, but mainly Ridgecrest. Myself, my mom, single parent, my brothers. There's 4 of us through my mom, but 5 boys through my dad. So a bunch of brothers, man, obviously being, playing sports in the city, Bellingraph, Lanier, just doing stuff in the neighborhood there. So, but good, man. A lot of times when you experience in life and the things that you're going through, right, things may be bad and you don't even know they bad because that's just what you're accustomed to. So when you look back on it, you think like, wow, man, there was a lot that we were going through, but we made it through and we're happy about it.
Yes, sir. No doubt. So it sounds like you came from humble beginnings, but you had a great village around you growing up.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it takes, right? A great village. My brothers being my mentors and setting the tone for what we wanted in terms of playing sports, staying out of trouble, that type of stuff. So, and my mom, of course, and then, her brothers, my uncles, my aunties, and of course my dad, right? He still was around a little bit. So, still able to be involved with us as well.
That's amazing. It definitely takes a village, like you were saying. So you go on to attend Lanier High School, where you were an all-state football player. And after graduating from Lanier, you went on over to South Jackson Street, to the Alabama State University, where you had a illustrious career there as well. So aside from your great football career, let's talk about the HBCU experience just in general. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, how about Alabama State? Great university. Really the only scholarship offer that I received, and I'm forever indebted to the university and so thankful for Coach Markham and them giving me an opportunity. But yeah, the HBCU experience was something that I knew about, like just from watching Alabama State, Tuskegee, those type of programs. And but it was a really cool experience for me. Obviously, being able to play football, being able to learn from some really, really good football players, really being able to learn from some good coaches. That culture of the band and the fraternities and, all that type of stuff was extremely cool. And, the most important part of it is I met my wife there. So, it's an awesome thing.
Absolutely. No, that's amazing, man. So you had a great time, just the HBCU experience, and especially being from Montgomery and going to Alabama State. I'm sure you got a chance to meet people from all over. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, and that's really what makes the HBCU experience great. Like getting a chance to meet all those different people from those different areas. That's dope.
Yeah, Doug, that's a great point. I mean, obviously, when you attend a HBCU like Alabama State, you know you're going to see people from Alabama, people from Mississippi, Georgia, those type places. But then you talk about the people that comes from Detroit. I mean, it was a lot of people that came from Detroit. A lot of people came from Chicago and how they live and the things that they were used to. And then my best friend, Alcide Sertan, was from New Orleans. Him and Herbert Harris became really cool friends with those guys. Just during the breaks, go home with them to experience their lifestyle and that type of stuff. So, those are the memories. Those are the great times that we had going there from Mardi Gras to New Orleans. Just experiencing a lot of things that those guys experienced there. And then our teammates that was from Detroit, teammates from Chicago, experiencing the things that they experienced and how they live was really cool.
Yes, sir. Good stuff. So you're going to have a great career as a wide receiver and kick returner at ASU and hold a single season record for receiving yards. Then you go on to get drafted into the NFL in 96 in the fourth round. Was that a lifelong dream? And take us through that moment when you first got drafted.
Yeah, I mean, being drafted was an awesome experience. I'll be frank and honest. Like baseball was really my favorite sport, and I just wanted a career in MLB. And as I got a little older and played in high school, and things just didn't match up. So football was the way. But being drafted was a huge blessing. Obviously, once you play and you realize, okay, this is what I want to do. So being drafted in the fourth round in '96 was huge. As arguably the best wide receiver draft class in the history of the NFL draft, and we had some amazing guys that got drafted in that draft class. About four Hall of Famers as receivers, and so I knew it was going to be a challenge. But was happy to get drafted. Was happy to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that was really just starting out. It wasn't right. There wasn't this tradition and history behind that program. So I was happy to be a part of that.
Yes, sir. That's amazing. Glad you got a chance to experience that. Went on to play for the Jaguars and led the league in punt return yardage in '98.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
know I know that was a proud moment for you.
that was a proud moment. You're talking about, I mean, how many people can say they led the National Football League in anything?
Right.
Receiving yards, rushing, touchdown, any of that. And to be able to say we led the league in 1998, obviously it was because of, great coaching. It was because of many of our teammates, guys that played on special teams for us. And, we had a stint during that time where we were able to do some really positive things. And it was because of Brett Boyers and even Fred Taylor early on in his career, he was on special teams, as well as many, many other of our teammates that played on the Jaguar team. So certainly happy about that. And, it's something that we hold true. We can say, hey, for this year, right, we led the National Football League in this category. So definitely proud of that.
Absolutely. Reggie Barlow from the Gump led the league in punt return yards in '98. They can't take it away from you ever.
You're right on. You know what I'm saying? That's in history, man.
Yes, sir.
There ain't a lot of people that can say they led something in the NFL, man. That's just what it is.
Yes, sir. Much respect. So you have a great career with the Jaguars, go on to play for the Oakland Raiders in '01. And in '02, you ended up playing for the Bucks, one of the best defenses of all time, where you won your Super Bowl. What was that Super Bowl experience like for you?
Yeah, it was great, man. Playing there in Tampa, but honestly, playing there with the Raiders and being a part of that, and knowing that you were selected by Mr. Davis, Al Davis, that is, to be a part of his team, because you don't come through there unless he gave the GM and the scouts and everybody else and the coaches an opportunity to sign off on it. So if I could do any redo over, that would be the redo. That I could just be back there in Oakland and be able to really continue to play there because of the history and tradition. But so grateful and thankful that John Gruden, who was there at the Raiders at the time, who brought me there, when he got the job in Tampa. When I got released, he hit me up. A few of the guys hit me up and said, "Man, you need to come here, be a part of our team." You mentioned our defense, man. You talking about Derek Brooks. You're talking about Lynch. You're talking about Rondé Barber. You're talking about Warren Sapp. That's 4 Hall of Famers off of that defense. But those guys will tell you those are the other guys that made that defense really good. Simeon Rice and Shelton Quarles and many others that played. Greg Spires that played on that defense. And as a coach, as a player, I know, man, defense travel. And if you want a chance to win a championship, you better be good on defense. And that defense was really good.
Yes, sir, without question. And man, y'all mopped the Raiders, man, in that Super Bowl. So you did your former team real bad, Coach Barlow. You wrong for that, man.
Yeah, I think Coach Gruden and I we talked about that because both of us. I think we had one other guy from the Raiders, Ricky Dudley, who was ironically my roommate in training camp and stuff. But we often talk about that, right? We were able to get back at the Raiders for either cutting us, firing us, or whatever you want to call it. So was certainly happy about that opportunity to go and win that Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's good stuff. So you played for the Jaguars and the Raiders and the Buccaneers. So just from a cultural perspective, living in those cities, what are some of the differences between those 3 cities?
Yeah, I mean Jacksonville, land wise, is the biggest city in the country because Duval County is the entire Jacksonville, and per population is the biggest. And I know there's the Chicago's and there's LA's, but they're divided up into these different little small cities or counties. But Duval County is essentially the entire Jacksonville. But you're talking about a big city from a population standpoint, but not a big city from how it is and how you live. It's not fast paced and all that stuff, but you got the beaches, a really nice place to raise a family, raise kids. And I thoroughly enjoyed my time being there. A lot of times I think about a lot of the places that I didn't take advantage of, that we didn't take advantage of visiting, great restaurants and all that stuff. So it was a great place to live, great place to stay there. I ended up staying there maybe there like 2 years after I was done playing in Jacksonville. The Raiders, Oakland, right? Oakland, the Bay Area, bro, right? It's Oakland, right? It's Oak Town. It sounds like a big city, but there are so many integral parts of it. But enjoyed our time there. Is right over the bridge, essentially from Montgomery to Prattville is essential to Oakland to San Francisco. So you're talking about going right over the bridge to an amazing city with great shopping, great restaurants, lots and lots of people. So that was a cool experience for me. I'm not real big on the fast paced stuff, but I thought it was a real cool experience. And then Tampa, there again, an amazing city, got beaches and stuff, lots of really amazing restaurants. All 3 were great sports towns that love their teams. So I was just happy and glad that I was able to experience those teams and those cities. Really fun for me.
That's amazing stuff, and appreciate you breaking down just culturally, just the difference in all of them. And so you finished up your 7-year NFL career, which I don't know the math exactly, but I want to say you beat the odds because I think the average NFL career is like what 4 years, 5 years, or does that waiver?
Yeah. Well, actually, I have 8 accredited seasons.
8, nice, okay.
Yeah, it was 1 year that I spent on IR, and that was in Oakland. But back when I was playing, the average career was 3 years. And you know how I go, man. You grew up in Montgomery, you grow up in Gump, Ridgecrest. There's gonna be 1,000 people telling you what you can't do, but being able to overcome the status of it's a 3-year minimum, and being able to make 8 years out of it is something that I don't take for granted, something that I'm extremely proud of, and blessed that we were able to do it.
Yes, sir, and that's amazing. Like you nearly did three times what the average career is. So yes, you beat the odds, like from the gump. That's amazing. Like that's a blessing, man. For real. Salute.
Yeah, from the Gump, and then the other thing is, my high school plant Lanier, we didn't have a whole lot of success, but we were able to go to Alabama State, and then it's the whole where you can't go to the NFL from an HBCU, and then to get drafted from an HBCU, from Alabama State, and then to be able to have a career at that thing, which first they say you ain't supposed to get drafted from HBCU, and then you get drafted, and then obviously have a career there. So all things to be proud of, and obviously without the help of family and friends and teammates, it wouldn't have been able to happen.
Sir, no doubt. Absolutely. So speaking of your playing career at Lanier, I read where you got your jersey retired at Lanier back in 2014. Take us back through that moment when you got the call that your number was being retired, as well as the ceremony.
Well, Doug, I actually tried to talk them out of that. Right,
Mm.
I'm a guy that I appreciate the honor, and I was humbled by them retiring my jersey. But I do know how important single digit numbers are to high school kids and college kids. And my number was number 8 at Lanier, and there may be an opportunity, a kid that want to wear a number 8, and he's deciding between going to Lanier or going to Carver from McKee or one of those schools. And it comes down to the number. And if number 8 ain't available, this kid may say, well, I'm going to just go to Carver because they got my number. And you'd be surprised how often that happens. But I was humble and blessed that they decided to retire my number at Lanier High School. But I tell you what, if there ever comes a time where there's a young man that wants to wear number 8, I'm like, hey, man, take it off the shelf and give it to them. Allow them to wear it so we can have the best players that we can possibly have at Lanier.
Oh man, that's amazing. Just hear you speak on it, and you're definitely right. Just in terms of high school players, there's a single digit numbers being important, but at the same time, coach, you earned it. Like you beat the odds, man. So you getting your number retired was well deserved. I know you're humble and things of that nature. But yeah, I'm one of many people that would tell you definitely deserved it. That's amazing.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yep.
Yes, sir. So you finish up your 8-year career in the league and you go into coaching. You start as a QB coach at the Alabama State University. Did you always know coaching was the next step after your playing career was over? Playing days were done?
Well, I tell you, like when I was playing, the one goal I had in my head, I was like, bro, I'd just be tickled to death if I could go and be the head coach at Bellingraph Middle School. Right? I mean, that's kind of like, okay, you go play ball, you retire, you go teach PE or whatever, and then you coach middle school football. I was kind of dead set on that, but I had a chance to meet Charlie Cole, who was the head coach at Alabama State. Had a chance to spend some time with some of the coaches over there that I knew. Obviously, they had Tavares Jackson, and Tavares Jackson and my career, our career, is just so linked in terms of we both from Montgomery, we both from Ridgecrest, we both went to Bellingraph, we both went to Lanier. He ended up coming to Alabama State. Obviously, I went to Alabama State, and it was just like at the time they had the position come open, and it was more like somebody that could be investing in Tavares to continue to develop him mentally, physically, to help him on his path because obviously he was an NFL talent, and it was a great opportunity for me to be able to learn from somebody like him who was so smart, so sharp, had a real skill set, and get in that position, being his quarterback coach. And just really accepting who he was and how he goes about the game and all that stuff. And obviously, he ended up getting drafted in the second round, all that stuff. So then our coach Lee got a job, and we were able to be named the interim head coach, and then things kind of took off from there.
And God rest his soul, Tavares Jackson. Like you said, you all had a lot in common. One thing you left out, coach, because you're real humble, both of you all are Super Bowl champions from the Gump.
Yeah, that's right, man. Super Bowl champions, right?
Hey, that's an issue
It's
books,
hard to
man.
do, man. It's hard to do. I think one of the things that I tell people when I'm talking to people, I talk about that I went to Lanier High School, and Lanier High School has 6 guys that have won Super Bowl championships. And I mean, just think about that. Not 2, not 3, 6
Mm.
guys that have won Super Bowl. And obviously Bart Starr all the way back, and myself, Tavares, and I always forget all the names. I always say I'm gonna remember all the names, but I always forget. But I got it saved in my phone somewhere. But just think about that. It's 6 Super Bowl champions that walk the halls at Lanier High School, and me and my homeboy, right? I'm proud of that. Gino James, I think, is one of them. Were 2 guys that from Ridgecrest that was able to do that.
Yes, sir. That's amazing. Hey, y'all in the history books, man. And at the end of the day, you'll always be in the history books. Super Bowl
All right.
champion. That's good stuff. So you go on to become the head coach in '07 of your alma mater. What was that moment like being hired as the head coach? You said Bellingraph, but you got hired as the head coach at Alabama State University. What was that like?
Yeah, it was more that opportunity was more that was a huge moment for me, just seeing and being grateful for people that love Alabama State to have confidence in me, to give me an opportunity to be the head coach there, knowing that I didn't have a whole lot of coaching experience, knowing that it would take some time for me to learn how to be a head coach, and believing that once we able to develop, that we would have good programs there and good teams there. And I think we did, right? I think we were able to win a good bit of games. Ended up being, I think, second in all-time wins at the school, probably first in conference games. But just a cool experience being there at home. But it's always hard to go home, bro. It's always hard to go home, right? Because you're so connected to the university, and you go from being this player there that accomplished this, and now you're the coach there. You got to hear folks say bad things about you. That don't always feel good. But we were able to do some good things there, and really grateful for the opportunity that we had there at ASU.
Yes, sir. And that's the amazing thing. You definitely had a great coaching career at the Alabama State University. So in the 8 years there, you had a 3-year consecutive run of being SWAC East, winning that division, the SWAC East, and ended your time there with a winning record, 49-42 in the record books. Had a great conference record. You did some great things. So it all came full circle. So the very school that you got drafted from, you got a chance to come back and coach. And I must say, you did a great job, Coach.
I appreciate you saying that. Obviously, whenever you have success in a team sport, it is about the people who you populate yourself with. We had really good coaches that just did not, that they knew football. They were really good football coaches, but they were just good people in general, and they cared about their student athletes. And then, of course, the student athletes that we were able to recruit and bring to the program, they bought into coaching. They bought into, our philosophy of what we wanted our team to be. And because of that, we were able to have some success. So having good coaches, having good players, and then of course your support staff being good is also something that you definitely need. So things were good.
Yes, sir, no doubt. So after having great coaching success at your alma mater, you went on to coach at Virginia State. What was Ettricks, Virginia like? What was that city like?
Yeah, Ettricks is, at one point it was a booming city, Petersburg, Ettrick, with, the whole tobacco thing. And, but, over the years, a lot of that stuff went away, and, there was some, a loss of that. And, but Petersburg, and Virginia State, the city where it is, it's a really cool town, college town, not a whole bunch, right, going on, which is good for the student athletes. But Virginia State is an amazing university. They have an amazing leader in Dr. Abdullah, who is the president. Miss Peggy Davis is an amazing leader who's the director of athletics. And I think in my entire coaching career or athletic career, being the head coach at Virginia State was the biggest and best thing ever happened to me as a football coach.
Hmm. Wow, that's amazing. So you got a chance to coach there and got a chance to have great success there. In fact, I see your first year you were there went 9-2, 5-2 in the conference. So you were able to play in that role and making immediate impact. So hats off to you for making that happen and getting in there and turning that program around and doing great things. You got a chance to win the conference title in your second year. What was that experience like?
Yeah, going to Virginia State and when they hired us, it was a difficult situation because we were only able allowed to bring one coach because the staff prior to us, the head coach left and the other guys are on the contract. So that in itself of trying to manage, a bunch of guys that don't know us and know how we operate and all that stuff was a challenge. But they did have players. They had good players there and it was more about getting everybody to buy into our mindset and our thought process. And the guys did a good job of doing that. The coaches did a good job of that. And we went 9-2, as you mentioned. And then the next year, as we continue to make how we communicate and our culture be a part of everybody fiber, that's a part of the organization. We were able to go 10-0, which was the first time that happened in the school history. So, but again, it comes from populating yourself with good people. And that's what we were able to do with the staff that we had. That's what we were able to do with the players that we had. And we ended up going out, being over there maybe 6 years or whatever, and winning a lot of games, getting some guys drafted in the NFL, Trent Cannon, and winning a lot of games. So I'm forever indebted to Virginia State because they got me, man, when there was a time where we were down, right? We just got let go from Alabama State and trying to figure out, what's next. And, so getting that job, getting that opportunity was probably the best thing that ever happened to me in athletics.
Wow, that's amazing and powerful story. And it's just great that you were able to land on your feet after, what happened at Alabama State. Things happen. I mean, it's things happen, but it's not what happens to you is how you respond to it. And you responded in a great way, relocated to Virginia and did some great things. So, and I'm sure, like you said, it was the best thing that ever happened to you. And typically we go through some storms in order to get to those great moments. So hats off to you for keeping your head up
Yeah.
and just pressing forward no matter what.
Yeah, I think during those times I found out, and I believe this, that things don't happen to us, they happen for us. And everything that happened at ASU happened for to make me a better coach, a better person, a better everything, right? And then getting the Virginia State job, um, at the time being closer to my kids, they were an hour and 50 some minutes away. It was my son in middle school at the time. My daughter was in elementary school. And over the course of those 6 years, I was able to attend track events, whatever other volleyball events, school dances. I was able to achieve and attend all of that, go to all that stuff, and still be able to go back into my job. So, I mean, it was a time in my life where, hey, here's what it is for you and for you and your family. And we went and made it work. And I'm grateful for it, man. And I love that school. It's a really beautiful school, great campus, great majors there. I mean, it's a school that you can go be an educator, you can be a nurse, you can be what is it in media, broadcasting, engineering. They just have criminal justice. They got a lot of beautiful majors there. So love Virginia State.
Yes, sir. Good stuff. So after you finish your tenure as head coach at Virginia State, you head on over to DC, where you currently are the head coach for the DC Defenders in the XFL. So in your very first year, you all went 9-1 and made it all the way to the XFL championship. So you were able to once again make another transition and have immediate success. How you keep doing it, coach? Let me guess, a great team, great village around you.
That's what it is, bro. It's like, I mean, it's getting good people. Our staff, we were very intentional about who we hired on our staff, and we wanted a good mixture because a lot of times we get left out that HBCU coaches can't coach on a bigger level. And I want to make sure that we were um, with myself, we had a bunch of coaches on our staff that was either HBCU grads or guys who had coached at HBCUs. And, those guys did a great job of, building our team. Obviously, we had Vaughn Hutchins, who was our director of player personnel, Miss Stacy, who was Stacy Johnson, who was our team operation person, and then our coaches. And when we got the job, it was just a blank sheet of paper. And I was asked to go and hire a director of player personnel, a team operation person, your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and then all your position coaches. And then once we had that staff in place, now is go evaluate talent and build your list of who you want to draft. And I just commend our staff for what they did to build our staff, adding the guys that we added, drafting the guys that we drafted. Our quarterback was offensive player of the year. Our running back was, if not second, third in the running for that. We had a lot of defensive guys that were solid. We had about 10 guys sign NFL contracts sign NFL invites to go to training camp and all that stuff. So all in all, a real cool experience. You only get so many times to show your stuff, and on that level, on the national TV level, you get a chance to go out and compete. And our coaches did a good job. Our players did a good job, and definitely humble and proud of them for that.
Yes, sir. That's good stuff. So I see the DC Defenders been around for 5 years, and you are the first coach of the year. No, let me get that correct. XFL Coach of the Year of the whole league. Reggie Barlow 2023 in the record books. Reggie Barlow from Ridgecrest and the Gump. Man, what was that feeling like when you got the call?
I mean, you said it, man. Like Reggie Barlow from Ridgecrest, from the Gump, Bellingraph, Center Lanier, man. Like the things that we've had to experience throughout our life, it's typically hard to be able to accomplish things, right? But when you got faith in God, you got a good mama, good daddy, support staff of brothers, people from Montgomery that came and supported, getting good players, our support staff, and with our director of player personnel. This guy Von Hutchinson, he's a star, man. He is definitely needs to be a player personnel guy in the NFL. So we were able to do that, and we're proud of that. Proud of what we were able to accomplish, and to be the coach of the year. In this rendition of it with The Rock being a part of it, and Miss Danny Garcia, it was pretty cool.
That's amazing, man. It's amazing. And it's just amazing, man. Just to look at all your accolades and everything you've accomplished. And I'm gonna ask you a tough question. This next question is gonna be very tough. Of everything
Mm-hmm.
that you've accomplished, all state in high school, all SWAC in college, Super Bowl champion, coach of the year in the XFL. Of all the accolades you've accomplished in your playing and coaching career, which of those accomplishments are you most proud of?
Yeah, I think being a player, a former player in college and in the NFL, and knowing the mindset that I would go out with, because I could control that. I knew, okay, I want to lead the NFL and punt return yards or whatever. I could control me, and of course my teammates, about how they play. But I think being able to coach a team to go and be undefeated, that's pretty hard to do. That's week in, week out, finding new ways, new creations to mentally and physically get your team ready. Times when, you've won 5 in a row and guys are feeling themselves, but still being able to keep them humble enough to go to the next game and letting each game have a life of its own. I honestly think being able to coach a team to go 10-0 and win a championship, it's pretty hard to do. And ain't a lot of people that get to do that. So I would have to say going 10-0 at Virginia State and winning the championship.
That's amazing. Good stuff. Good stuff. So you've done great things as a coach, and I know great things are coming down the pipeline. So my next question is just in terms of vision, what are some of your short-term and long-term goals?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that question. We've been blessed to experience a lot, and we do talk to our coaches and our players about being where your feet are. And right now we're here. But we do want you to have dreams and goals, right? The guys that are playing in the XFL, we want them to have an opportunity to go to the NFL. And I think that's the same for coaches, getting an opportunity to show that you have the skill set to build a team, to coach a team, to get guys on the same page, to be able to coach in the NFL as a head coach, right? A lot of times people try to put the corral on you and be like, well, I could see him going and be a position coach or maybe a coordinator, or why not a head coach? That's what I've done for the last 17 years is to be a head coach. And we believe that we can do that. We believe we will populate ourselves with the right people, the right players, the right coaches, the right support staff to give us an opportunity to be successful. So, although it hadn't happened yet, we're going to be where our feet are, and we're going to continue to work, continue to get better, continue to grow as a coach. And when it does happen, because we're claiming that it will happen, we'll be able to go and show our stuff. So we're excited about that.
Yes, sir. Those are great goals, short term and long term. And just based on what you've accomplished, I have no doubt you'll make whatever you set come to fruition.
All right, on. Appreciate you saying that.
Yes, sir. As we wrap up the podcast, Coach, I want to ask the $1,000,000 question. I started this podcast to highlight the greatness connected to the city, whether you were born here or lived here for a significant period of your life, be it college, military, or work. You being a hometown hero, what makes you the most proud to be from the Gump?
Well, I tell you, I appreciate you establishing this podcast. We all need to be connected in some form or fashion. But I mean, the thing about the Gump, man, there's so much history and tradition there. There's so many people have given up damn near their lives to have a better life, obviously for minorities in that city. And the history and tradition of, the bus boycott, Martin Luther King and all that stuff. And, obviously there's a lot of people, athletes, rappers, talented people that have come out of Montgomery. And I think we still need to do a better job of uplifting and encouraging our people with talent to still come and, do what they do. But just happy to be a part of Montgomery, man. I love that city. Anytime I'm there, I'm trying to give back. Anytime I'm not there, I'm thinking of ways to give back. So just humble and proud that Ridgecrest Vineyard guy that's been able to go around the world and see a lot, experience a lot, but get a chance to bring that back to the Gump. So that's what I'm most proud of.
Yes, sir. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. So how can the people connect with your coach? Where can they follow you at on socials?
Yeah, so our job keep us extremely active on social media, on Facebook, right? It's just Reggie Barlow. On Instagram, it's Coach Reggie Barlow, and on Twitter, it's Reggie Barlow. And although I'm not on TikTok as much, I do like TikTok. There's some great stuff that's on there, but it's Reggie Barlow as well on that. So appreciate you allowing me to mention that.
Sir, and of course, I'll put all of that information in the description of the episode. Hey, Coach, thanks again for the conversation. I really appreciate you.
It's been good, man. Sorry for being a little bit tardy. I'm going to have to do about 10 push-ups for that, so excuse me. But thank you for your platform, and thank you for what you're doing to tell the story of a lot of people there in the Gump, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. In the meantime, in between time, y'all know what to do. Be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Go on. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your time and your attention. Until next time.